Helping animals, saving lives. This is what the International Gabriele Foundation stand for. They develop habitats for free-living animals, oases of life. A peaceful land where the all-love of the Creator can be felt more and more. In their beauty and diversity, all life forms are God's creation. People with a heart for nature care and provide for animals in need. Thereby, they orient themselves to the teachings of Jesus of Nazareth, particularly to the guiding principle, do to others as you would have them do to you.
Freezing temperatures prevail. The bushes have hardly any berries left. The ground is frozen. And animals living in the wild are having a hard time.
So, we are ready. Let's go.
To help the animals during the cold season, animal caregivers and gamekeepers of the International Gabriele Foundation take various precautionary measures. This large fodder rack is meant for the deer.
Okay, stop.
Daniel and Andreas load on bird feed and water for the many birds.
Okay, we have bird feed. Now we still need alfalfa. Then we have everything.
Finally, a bale of hay to fill the fodder rack.
Okay, shall we get going?
Shall we quickly drive by the infirmary? Hans-Jörg has prepared something to fortify the wild animals.
Okay, great.
The measures for the wild animals are coordinated with a veterinarian. Hans-Jörg Schilling is in charge of the infirmary.
Hello, Daniel.
Hans-Jörg, greetings.
Greetings. I've already prepared something for you.
Super.
Look here, from this bottle here. That's a remedy for strengthening the immune system. At best, put one of these measuring spoonfuls in the small water basins, and in the large basins, 3 spoonfuls. After you've filled the basins, simply add it to the water.
Yeah, super.
Okay, there you go.
Thanks a lot. Have a good morning.
You too, goodbye.
For his drops, Hans-Jörg uses the well-known remedies of herbal medicine. For example, echinacea, a proven medicine for colds from the root of the purple coneflower. Just like with us human beings, the animal's body defenses are also particularly stressed in winter.
During the cold season in winter, we frequently offer the animal substances that stimulate the immune system. They simply serve to strengthen the body's defenses, so that the animals can deal better with the conditions at this time of the year.
Such fodder racks have actually been distributed all over the land since the beginning of the Gabriele Foundation. But since the land is expanding, a new rack is added here and there as needed. The carpenters of the Gabriele Foundation built this during the summer months, and now in autumn and winter, we're putting them out.
Andreas has seen a group of deer near a small woods quite often. An ideal place for such a feeding place.
So, that's a great place here. What do you think?
Yes, it's nice, protected by the conifers. A little wind protection here and safety protected. That's good. It needs a stable roof over it so that the hay doesn't get wet when there are warm phases in winter, otherwise it starts to mold. And we've combined it with a built-in basin, which is there for the silage, and a large supply of hay. So, look, Daniel, here's already a little welcoming greeting from the deer droppings. This shows that they come on a regular basis to eat by the hedge. And during the cold season, they fetch this or that they can digest. So I think this is a good place, right?
Yes, it would be good to put alfalfa in here, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Alfalfa is especially loved by deer.
Particularly in alfalfa hay, the deer find an optimal combination of the minerals and substances that they actually need.
Deer are concentrate selectors. This means that in free nature, they normally nibble on a little plant here and there a bud. And normally they don't go to a rack containing only normal hay. But we have found that with alfalfa hay, they can pick out little blossoms, the dried ones, and they enjoy eating them.
We can mix them up a bit.
Anyone who wants to help deer in winter has to know how these animals live. You find some things in textbooks. Much comes from the experiences that animal friends have collected over the years.
That's exactly the right position.
Actually, we start caring for the deer already in autumn. We prepare a kind of silage for them. Apple pomace goes in, for instance, and grain, corn, not just the corn kernels, but the whole corn plant. It's shredded while stirred green and then goes into this mixture. And there are also beets, carrots, and potatoes. So a huge spectrum of foodstuffs that the animals like. And then it's filled into a big container and ferments for 6 weeks. It's simply a help for the animals so that they can survive this harsh winter time.
The support for the animals during the winter months is necessary because the living conditions for deer, hare, or birds have drastically changed during the last decades.
We have to say that the wild animals have it very hard. Formerly, there was always something left standing on the farm fields so that they could get in shape for winter time. But since industrialized farming began, practically nothing is left on the fields or the edges of the fields. Nothing at all. Not a single stalk of grain. Nothing is left on the field. And so the deer, for example, have a terribly hard time putting on any fat at all, so that they can build up a food or energy reserve for the winter. It's not possible at all for them. For the deer, the female animals, the does, their offspring are developing. Starting in December, the fawn develops in the mother's body, and during this time, she needs an enormous amount of energy to build up this new body. And during this time, there's actually nothing to eat.
The next station is the bird paradise, a woods with high, in part old trees in which many birds find a home.
So.
Andreas carries 20 kilograms of bird feed on his shoulder. Experience shows that the birds consume this amount in 3 to 5 days.
So I'll have a look.
Schauen wir mal.
Let's see.
Oi, die
Oi, they've eaten well.
Will the whole sack fit in?
Yes, there's enough room.
Also wir
We feed the birds all year round with a mixture of grains and sunflower seeds.
mit Sonnenblumen
There are various seeds and grains in it.
und Getreidesorten. Auch
And particularly in winter, we put out suet balls, and they really like them.
sehr, sehr gerne an.
So we'll now fill up the suet balls.
Knödel auf, da sind zwar noch welche drin,
There are still a few there,
aber da braucht's auf
but they definitely need more
sie gerne, wenn
because they really like them when it's so cold.
Futter, was angeboten wird für die Tiere draußen, muss natürlich
The animal feed that's offered to the animals outside must, of course, be appropriate for the species. For example, for the birds, there are the suet balls, and thus feed that's also designed for winter conditions, more fat, more energy-giving foods, so that the animals have what they need during the season.
brauchen in dieser Jahreszeit.
There are also water basins set up by every feeding station in the bird villages.
Guck mal,
Look here, the nice drinking basins.
groß ist.
The big one is completely frozen. We can't free it up.
No, we just have a chance with the little ones.
Yeah,
At minus 15 degrees centigrade, it's absolutely frozen. I'll have to hack it open. Can you watch out?
Das Wasser ist ein ganz wichtiger Aspekt.
water is a very important aspect because the animals need it to live. So now in winter, when the water is frozen, we remove the ice and provide warm water.
Anbieten.
Die mögen
They
kein.
don't like eating frozen snow. For them, it's like with us people. It's true that the opposite is always claimed, but when you offer the animals lukewarm water, then you see the many different species that go to it, especially during this cold time of the year.
Wir müssen uns
We have to imagine that often they have to walk very far until they find something at all, somewhere or other.
nur Schnee zu
And to just eat snow, of course, such a thing can lead to illness, colds, etc.
essen und so weiter.
Jetzt tun wir das heiße Wasser rein.
So let's put in the hot water.
Das heiße Wasser taut.
The hot water thaws it a bit more, okay?
Tun wir noch die
So.
Aromastoffe rein.
Let's add the medicinal solution. Often when we go away, we see that the birds also come to bathe. And of course, the other large animals also come to drink. So, also in winter, it is especially important that we regularly put out water.
What's this long cylinder all about? Sitting in the midst of the landscape, it's not exactly very decorative, but very valuable for certain animals.
Wahrscheinlich ist es schon wieder
It's probably already empty again because it's so cold. Usually everything is eaten up.
And it was also extremely cold the last few days, wasn't it? Oh, yes, really.
Oh ja, wirklich.
Everything empty, nothing more in there.
Alles weg.
Everything's gone. Great.
The dry food mixture is meant for foxes. During the winter months, It's a helpful supplement to the natural food available in winter that's getting scarcer.
For a long time now, we've watched a fox family in a wooded area. And now, particularly in winter, when really no food is available, for example, when there's a thick layer of snow, then it's really hard on the animals. They don't find any food. And during this season, we also provide food for the foxes in these fox cylinders. And they are designed in such a way that only foxes can get to them.
Well, at least usually. A young wild pig also discovered this source of food for itself, but it really had to work hard to get some of the coveted treats. The effort was worth it. The marten also checks out the tempting cylinder on his nightly tour. But as the observation camera shows, there's always enough left for Father Fox. That animals are dependent on help from people during the cold time of year was not always so.
There are still people who think that animals living out in the open still get along fine on their own. They say that they have a thick coat. They have been finding their natural food for thousands of years. But what's not taken into consideration is that for perhaps 150 years, we people have extremely damaged nature through industrialization. Particularly through intensive agriculture, we human beings have extremely cut back the animals' habitat and their natural basis of existence, their food. The International Gabriele Foundation stands for making amends, and this way of making amends is very practical. For one thing, that we give the animals their habitats back through the creation of the connective biotope system, and also, of course, that we help them in their need. This means that we give them shelter, that we give them food.
With the creation of the connective biotope system, field hares have found their way here in great numbers. And via observation, the animal friends have discovered how to help them in winter.
The field hares basically love a variety of food. They love many different plants and herbs, which they find in spring, summer, and also in autumn. In winter, things are quite limited for them, and due to the many hedges that have been laid out on the land of the International Gabriele Foundation, the hares, of course, also get along well in winter. They go to the bushes in the hedges and nibble on them. When you look closely at such a bush, you see little bitten places.
These animals then find minerals and vitamins in the bark, substances that they can no longer absorb anywhere else at this time of year.
But when the snow is deep and the raptors don't find a great supply of mice either, then the hares have a very hard time. So at such times, we put branches left from pruning fruit trees into the hedges. And the hares then chew on the fresh bark, and from these pieces of bark, they get their minerals and, above all, moisture.
So this means that if you want to help animals, you also have to know their needs. In this, it helps the animal caregivers to feel into the animals. How would I feel myself when it's freezing cold outside in winter? The golden rule from the Sermon on the Mount of Jesus of Nazareth says, "Do to others as you would have them do to you." For the animal caregivers, this also holds true in how they treat the animals. The connective biotope system with its wide hedgerows provides good conditions for the animals in the wild to survive the cold temperatures. Planted in the hedges were preferably those species of shrubs and trees that provide food for the animals, especially in winter.
We've planted a very, very large diversity, about 25 different species of trees and about 30 different species of shrubs. For example, there are trees and shrubs that attract very, very many different kinds of birds. For example, the elderberry, to which about 62 kinds of birds go to eat. Or also the mountain ash, approximately 60 different bird species go to it.
The sloe berries, rich in vitamins and tannins, supply the birds with important nutrients and body-building substances during the winter months, and the privet still has berries even in February. Because its leaves stay on the shrub until far into winter, it also offers good possibilities for hiding. The sea buckthorn with its bright orange berries belongs to the buckthorn family. The many barbs don't seem to be any problem at all for its feathered visitors. On the contrary.
Very many woody plants that protect birds have thorns and barbs. This is actually good for the birds because they have protection from their attackers, from the raptors or various mammals that hunt them. And they also have protection for their nesting places. It's now the beginning of February and it's very cold. And we see here, for instance, the sea buckthorn. It has lots of berries. They have lots and lots of vitamin C, 10 times as much as citrus fruit, and also quite a lot of vitamin B.
In winter, you especially see many animals that seek protection in the hedges. Is the cold hard on them despite their thick coats?
Well, nature has indeed foreseen a winter coat for the animals. But today, due to the intervention of people in nature as such, the animals no longer grow a coat for winter to the extent that nature originally foresaw. Due to all the changed conditions through the monocultures in agriculture, for example, the animals no longer find the nutrients that they originally would have needed to be able to develop a normal coat.
We've also planted many evergreen trees and shrubs in the hedges. This has a benefit, particularly in winter. In the areas where there are evergreen trees and shrubs, the wind is broken and there is more protection. Inside, we have a so-called Benji's hedge and have made possibilities available for shelter. The animals have protection, they have food, and the wind is also broken.
The basis for every hedge is the Benji's hedge, a row of dried brush. It provides protection from the cold wind, not only for the newly planted trees and shrubs, but also for the animals. They find shelter in the thicket of the branches.
The basic ideas that were put into practice here stem from Gabriela, the prophetess and emissary of God for our time. She has a special rapport with the animals, with all animals, and through a relationship, through her profound relationship with them, she can feel what they need. And right from the beginning, she taught us that animals have similar needs as we human beings do. And from this basic principle, a wide variety of measures has been developed.
One of these measures is that shelters are integrated in the hedges, that is, additional cave-like structures into which the animals can creep when necessary. When it's very cold, warming straw is also put into them.
Ich glaube, wir können das auch.
I think we can also compare this with us people. The animals feel the cold just as much as we do. And even when we now say we are wearing a thick jacket or long underwear and would stay outside overnight, we wouldn't freeze to death right away either, but we would be bitter cold. And it's the same for the animals. They simply get very cold. And when we try to put ourselves in the place of the animals, to empathize with them, then we very quickly sense what they need. And that shows us what we can do for the animals.